I saw it.
Yeah, I get excited.
You jumped up, yeah.
Before they even said my name, because I'm like,
yes.
it's got to be me.
Yes. Yeah, that was when they said 98, 92, I was like, whoa, this wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
If it went the other guy's way.
And, it had gone the other, I was on the, right side of that decision, but I was on the wrong side of a lot of decisions in my career. And one of my last fights in Germany, I went over there, Dominik British, and I mean, I just thought I just beat this guy pretty handily, and the Italian judge had it a draw, and the other ones, it was like they had him winning.
That was majority decision.
Hands down,
yeah,
majority
so
decision.
It was majority, yeah.
And that's kind of one of the signs that made me retire. I'm like, well, power, you're born with power. You're born with speed, but you could do, I think, more for speed than power. And I just didn't have that natural power. I wasn't born with it. So, if I'm going to have to go to people's hometown and I can't knock them out, I mean, how am I going to win?
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? I noticed in that fight, was it 12 rounds? Yeah.
Yeah, 12th round, yeah.
Yeah, in the 12th round, I watched it closely with a minute and a half left. You hurt him.
Yeah.
You had a right. You had a right that hurt him. And I was like, oh, he's hurt. He's hiding it.
I know. I should have pressed it a little bit more.
Because he almost like lost his will right there. It was like, oh, no, you got this.
I remember the first round I came out, and by the end of the first round, his eye was all swollen, and he was kind of beat up. And, he was kind of like a pretty kid, and I'm just like, this guy's in a fight.
Yeah, he had the slick back hair.
Yeah. And, God, I was having so much fun in there that night, and, you
were cut up, though, too.
Yeah. No, I was in good shape. Yeah, I was in great shape.
No, I mean, you were cut up, weren't you, on the face? Didn't you? Or was that
not really? That was
Duddy fight.
The Duddy fight, I had a bad cut.
Okay.
Yeah. Rich, I came out in okay shape, which was, I got cut a lot. But in that fight, I remember just having so much fun. I could have felt like I could have fought 30 rounds that night. I was actually just having so much fun. And maybe I should have pressed on the gas more, because he was hanging on by a thread.
I'm telling you,
and
that's what round.
Yeah, and that's what I tell guys in the gym now is you got to empty your tank.
Yeah.
I didn't empty the tank. I had more. It doesn't matter if I'm in better shape than you. If you empty your tank and I have half a tank left, then you're going to beat me. That's
interesting that you bring that up, because my question is, are you teaching your kids now based off of your experience of the things that you didn't do? Like, you noticed maybe some things I could have done better. Are you pushing kids harder?
Oh, totally. Well, I always trained hard, but, it's more things that, when you're a coach, you have the bird's eye view.
Right.
You could see things you don't see as a fighter. When you're a fighter, you just train. And I would train so hard, but I didn't always train smart. And, looking back on it, I feel like no one even looked at me at the gym for the first couple of years. I went in there and just trained myself and learned by sparring and learned from any way I could. So I definitely try to give people a lot of feedback. And, if you talk to my coaches, they'd probably say that maybe I didn't listen well. Because going in there, I don't remember having a plan or thinking. I just remember kind of going in there fighting.
Yeah.
And I wish now that I'd watched videos and been more strategic and thought about doing things rather than just go and just try to just go and impose your will,
Well, when was this? This was the early 2000s then?
Yes. Well, I was in the amateurs since the 90s, I think. Gosh,
Okay.
maybe 97, my first fight. I'd have been maybe 96. I think I was 12. Yeah, I think maybe 96 was my first amateur fight. But then, all throughout the 99, 2000, 2001, I turned pro in 2003.
Okay, so it took 7 years before you turned pro?
I was 11 when I started boxing.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, turned pro. Well, these Mexicans, I tell you.
They do it. Yeah, Canelo, I think, he was 15 or 16.
Yeah.
So he was really young.
That just blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they fighting, cab drivers at that point?
It must be. Yeah.
Are they just getting them in the ring to...
Yeah, I don't know. It's a whole different culture down there. I fought Chavez Jr. down there, but I really don't know because...
Now, that's a fight that's interesting. I watched that fight.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people are saying, hey, Billy, I think you got had on that one.
It was, it was really close. I couldn't say I got had. It was more that it was close. I think that if obviously the fight was in Youngstown, Ohio, that I probably would have won, But being in Mexico, like, I think it was a close fight. Maybe he won, you know.
Yeah, you're in Culiacan, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You're not.
But
you're not winning.
No, the whole situation of the fight. I don't know if I ever told you the story.
No.
So I get there, and like I said, the fight's at 160. And nowadays, this is 2011. Chavez was undefeated. He didn't have a bad reputation.
Yeah, he was 41-0 at that time.
Yeah, and the fight after he beat me, he fought for the world title and won. So I was the fight.
Right.
He had to beat me to get the world title shot. So, so he didn't have the reputation for not making weight. So anyways, we're down there, and the fight's weight's 160. So like I said, when I'm in shape, I'm no more than 155.
Right.
So I weigh in first. I jump on the scale, and I'm 155, and they say 160, which is fine. I don't care because the fight's at 160. Okay. If they want to announce me at 160 so it doesn't look like I'm a small guy and it helps, right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Then he jumps on the scale, and that needle bounced up to the top. Like, he was so heavy, it was like a rock. You put a piece of concrete on there.
Do you know his weight? Did you know?
No, he was heavy, real heavy.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden he jumps on and they yell 160 in Spanish. And me and my manager, Pat Nelson, he was actually the reason I moved down here. He lives in Florida. We're going nuts. We're like, no, this is ridiculous. He just missed weight. The thing. Then as soon as he get off, he's chugging. So we're going nuts. We're not fighting. All of a sudden, I don't want to say any names because a lot of these guys are still around right now,
Yeah.
But one of the big guys, I think it was.
Well, I tell you what, if you say one of the names, the podcast will take off. They'll shut a boxing club down, and the podcast will shoot through the roof.
I'm grinning from ear to ear. I love these stories.
So one of the guys goes, "We'll take care of it. It's okay. It's okay." He's kind of saying, "We'll give So they came in my hotel room. I think they gave me, it was either $5,000 or $10,000 cash. And I was like, I thought I was rich with that.
Right.
And here he has probably made, I think, $500,000. And the whole, I could have stuck him up for at least 25.
Right.
I look back like, man, you way too cheap. So I would probably say it was 164 or 5 when he weighed. And then by the time we weighed in at like 1 in the afternoon, we fought the next night at 8 or 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So he probably was 177,
got a good
78. He had to have been
30 hours to rehydrate.
Right. And I'm at 155 eating breakfast. So just, and so when you watch the video, we don't even look like we belong in the same ring together.
No.
And that was the problem when I got in there with him. I was strong, but I couldn't hurt him. And every time I hit him, he just walked right through it. Yeah. So I was boxing great.
But you were tagging him.
I was tagging him. I was pretty slick. He was having a hard time hitting me, and his punches didn't hurt either, but it was just like, I think the size just mattered. Because normally when somebody's taller, they have the skinnier legs or they're not the smaller frame. This guy's taller than me. His legs are bigger than me. His shoulders are bigger than me. He was just a big guy.
Yeah, it's like hitting a wall.
Yeah.
Really. If you're not going to hurt them, you're just going to try to tag them.
That's like, I tell the guys this. I said, when you walk in a ring and you know that you can't hurt the guy, it takes like a certain amount of balls to do that. Because I know I'm not going to just clip a guy and knock him out.
Yeah.
That's why I had so many rounds. Me and Pavlik were talking, and I fought more rounds than him.
Yeah.
Because everything I'd win, even when I fought a guy that wasn't great, I'd go 8 rounds with him or 10 rounds with him.
Right.
Because I'd win 190.
Right.
Outbox him. But I think I had 4 or 5, maybe 5 knockouts. Was it?
Yeah. What was like your coming out fight for you?
Boy, well, when I turned pro,
you fought some pretty tough dudes.
Yeah, I think what put me on notice was, my first couple of fights, I was with a promotional group out of Chicago, and they did a good job. I think I was on TV. Remember Tuesday Night Fights with Sean O'Grady?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was on there my 3rd or 4th fight in Chicago, and I won. I just turned 19 a month or 2 before. It was really kind of cool to be on TV.
Sure.
At that age.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was just to the point where I ended up getting a loss early. I was like 7-1 or 7-2, and they just started kind of throwing me in there with everybody. I remember I fought Yori Boy Campus, who I fought.
Oh yeah,
he fought Trinidad. He fought De La Hoya. He was a world champion. I was 21 or 2, and I was like 12-3 or something. Mm-hmm. He came to I fought him in Youngstown. I lost 6 rounds to 4. But just like, and I had lost fights, but that was the first time I was ever hurt. I mean, this guy hurt me. I was peeing blood. I wouldn't go home after the fight because my face was such a mess. I didn't want my mom to see me.
No
So I
kidding.
stayed at my buddy's house for, I remember, like 4 days.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were in the hospital.
No, I should have been in the hospital. That brings me to another story. I'll get to that later.
Boxing stories are always.
I'll tell you a
great.
quick one. So, we're talking about fights I lost. I do want people to know I won 25 and I lost 11. So I won more than twice than I lost. But I did lose some fights. And part of that's because I fought the best in the world,
Right.
So I'm in the Cayman Islands fighting the champion down, the Caribbean champion. This guy was just a monster, Gosh, I don't remember his name offhand. Really just sick, just big guy.
Not Kirkland, is
No, not Kirkland. He was tough too.
it?
But
Oh, dude,
yeah, he was something else. I'll have to look this guy's name up. But anyways, I'm down there fighting him. Only fight I ever got knocked down and hurt.
John, look up his name.
Yeah, if you look at my box rec, you should be able to find him. So anyways, I go down there, and I'm Cayman Islands. I'm excited. This is great. I'm thinking it's going to be like the Bahamas or something. I go in there. We're staying at a hotel, which is nice on the beach. We end up fighting at some like gymnasium. It's like a bunch of like all Aborigines in the middle of the island.
No kidding.
And the first couple rounds I'm giving to this guy, it's like I'm winning on the scorecard. All of a sudden, I get headbutted right in my nose. My nose splits right down the middle. I mean, I had to get like collagen shots and crazy stuff done to it after. But the next round, I walked into an uppercut. I got knocked out. I mean, I remember walking right into the shot and getting up, and all those cliches ring true, like you got your bell rung or you got buzzed, because I heard a bell ring, and I remember like hearing a buzz, and I remember like just saying, getting up in the. I don't really remember much about it. But
Did you see stars? That's a cliche.
I think I did. Like you it's almost like a flash. But anyways,
yeah.
I'm sitting in my corner and I'm saying, Jack, I'm ready. I'm good. He said, Billy, man, the fight's over. He said, we got stopped last round. I had but then, so I'm split from my nose all across my nose. It was, I wish I had a picture to show you guys how bad it was. You could still see the scar now on the bridge of my nose.
Yeah.
And they're saying, we got to get this guy some stitches. And my manager and my trainer, Jack, they wanted to go out and party. He said, I'll throw a butterfly and he'll be fine.
Come on.
So I ended up leaving there with the freaking butterfly on my nose and no stitches.
So was there a long-lasting effect because of
Oh,
that?
my God. Basically, when your scar's that bad, it was probably, I'm going to say, and I don't like to exaggerate. I never say the best ever. I would say legitimately between the 16th, I would say, and an 8th off my nose was the scar protruded upwards.
Oh,
because it's just the way it healed with
Yeah.
the bunching. There was just like, it was like almost I was wearing a nasal strip over my nose.
Yeah.
And then thank God I had some guys when I got back to Youngstown, they gave me shots of collagen in it and knocked it down. And then it was just from years of not getting hit, it's gotten better. Your body kind of your body wants to be healthy, wants to heal. But I'll show you, I mean, for 5 years after that, my nose was a mess because, put a butterfly on it.
Well, now what fight was this in your career? This was like within 10
Gosh,
fights?
I think I maybe my 15th fight. I'm trying to find
Okay,
this stuff.
so when you fought Kirkland, I remember watching that fight. You had a couple losses at that point.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
He was a beast back then when
look,
you fought him, because he was an up and comer at that time, wasn't he?
and it's hard to actually.
Was it Dominik British?
No, British.
No.
British is the one we were talking about in Germany.
It's from the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, the guy in the Cayman Islands. I got it right here. I'm pulling him up right now. I'm looking at my box rec. His name was
Now, was he a name back then?
Charles Whitaker.
Whitaker.
Charles
Okay,
Whitaker.
all
Yeah,
right.
he fought for the WBC title, and hindsight's 2020. When you go back to 2007 when I fought Kirkland, he was a monster. He was the Mike Tyson of the day.
Yeah.
He was 17-0 with 16 knockouts.
That's when you fought him?
When I fought him, he had knocked out Joel Julio, who was HBO's kind of the next Felix Trinidad,
Right.
from Puerto Rico. And this guy was buzzing. He was, good fighters he was blowing through.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
he
blowing
was.
through really good,
I remember.
top prospects, and he was a surefire champion. And then he beat me. I fought it. I gave him a great fight. I was fine. I was never hurt. They stopped it in the 8th, just on cuts. And he was winning the fight. I might have won a couple rounds, but he ended up going to prison shortly after he beat me, and he was never the same. He did like 3 or 5 years.
Is that when that all went
Yep.
down? Okay.
Right after my fight, he might have had one more and went to prison.
Did he have the woman trainer?
Yeah, Ann Wolf. Ann Wolf was
Ann
in
Wolf,
I remember sitting. She was in this corner. Boy, she's a tough customer.
Yeah, she is.
And we had and he was a tough guy. He had,
Yeah.
I think he had been in trouble growing up, and he had done maybe a month or so, but he went to prison after he fought me, and he came out, and that's when he got knocked out by the Japanese guy, and then he bounced back and beat Angulo. Remember Angulo?
Yes.
Angulo was a monster at 154.
Yes,
he was almost like a unified champion at 154.
Alfredo
Angulo, who was a monster, and Kirkland knocked him out.
He's still fighting.
Yeah, he still is, but he was never the same.
No.
He just never the same. He was. I mean,
he wore the collar.
you don't know what happened.
Yes.
You don't know what happened. But I mean, you take James Kirkland 2007 that day, he'd have beat anybody at 154, hands down. He was 21, 22. He was a young Tyson.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, he was a young Tyson. And now looking back, you see the guys, that beat him, but they didn't beat him in 2007.
Right. He was a knockout artist at that time. I remember that. And then he just drifted off the map. I didn't know he went to prison.
He went to prison for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Ann Wolf, boy, I'll tell you, she had him doing barbaric training, it seemed like.
Pushing trucks. I mean, just doing.
Yeah.
He was a monster because my conditioning was great. And one of my biggest strengths was I was really strong. So it's kind of like, I didn't hit hard, but I was strong. So there's a difference. Like, I could back people up. I was strong. They would back up, but my punch, and I remember being there with Kirkland. I just couldn't believe he had only been, when I fought him, our plan was, let's get this guy late. I had been, I only had 16 fights, but I already fought Campus.
Let's get this guy late. So in other words, you're going to have to take punishment.
Right, to get in the later rounds, because he'd only been 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And he's blown people. He's like a buzzsaw. Just like a buzzsaw. So we're saying he's never been past 2 or 3 rounds. I fought Yori Boy Campus 10 rounds. I'd fought Charles Whitaker. I mean, I was 13-3, but I had been in there with some really. Yeah. They just threw me to the wolves,
Yeah.
So I remember like round 4 or 5. Like, okay, isn't this guy supposed to be getting tired, or isn't he supposed to be? And he just wasn't getting tired. And and it was all right.
And he's a tank.
He was a tank. He was strong. He hit hard. He was fast. He might have been like, I think.
What are you thinking at that point? I mean, here you got a tank that's supposed to get tired, doesn't get tired.
Well, it was kind of the hope that he would get tired. We didn't know,
right.
But he had only gone 2 or 3 rounds. So I'm thinking round 7, 8. That's my time. I'm going to pick it up.
Uppercuts.
He was throwing everything. Yeah, I remember in the one of the rounds, a mouthpiece was down, and they all thought it was mine, and it was his mouthpiece.
Oh, I remember that.
And the whole crowd started cheering because I knocked his mouthpiece out. But yeah, just funny looking back on things like that. It's
Yeah.
great.
What's up, John? You keep looking at me.
You haven't introduced him.
Oh yeah. I know. We'll put it on the title, but yeah, there's Billy Lyell, middleweight, junior middleweight, and middleweight professional boxer. What was your career? When did your career span? 2003 to 2010?
2003 to 2012.
12.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, because you fought Brich in 11, right?
Yeah, the fall of 2011. Yep.
Yeah. So, yes, we're here with Billy Lyell. You want me to give a formal introduction?
Yeah, just for...
I knew we were going to title it and play into it. So, but that's the producer doing his job.
But just to say his name out loud for the...
Very good.
For the kids out there.
Billy Lyell. He's actually like my boxing coach, if you will. I respect him a lot, and I wanted him on the show. I know he has a lot to offer. We're going to get into his YouTube channel and what everyone can see from all around the world now, Billy. Look at that.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
And then you also have an app that's out. What's the name of it? The Sweet Science?
The name of the app's the Sweet Science Plus app. And I'm actually, the exciting part is I'm partnered with Kelly the Ghost Pavlik, a good friend of mine, unified world champion from Youngstown. Yes. So we kind of developed a boxing fitness app.
Tell me about it.
The app's really exciting. So, like you guys were saying, I have a gym currently now in Naples, and it's boxing with some fitness too. We try to, get the full spectrum of people down there. So the app it's traditional boxing. It's based on a boxing workout of 3 minutes of work, 1 minute rest. So everything we do, every exercise we do for 3 minutes, and then there's a rest period in between. There could be 30 seconds or a minute. So we have 5 kind of full body exercises, and then we have 5 boxing combinations every day. So the cool part about it is each week Kelly Pavlik kind of introduces a new topic or new theme we're going to work on, And he teaches that with a video demonstration. He'll say, okay, guys, we're learning the jab, straight right hand. And he'll teach that in a video series. And then each day of that week, there's 5 different boxing exercises having to do with with those routines he taught. And then there's a GIF of me throwing the combinations so people can see the correct form, the correct way to throw them. And to go along with that, there's also 5 full body exercises every day.
Okay.
So, the total workout is 30 minutes, 30-minute a day workout, and you're getting 10 rounds of boxing. Nice. I'm sorry, 5 rounds of boxing and 5 rounds of full body exercises.
Well, it's sort of emulating the 10 rounds, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So are the body exercises, is that more of a calisthenic type thing?
Really kind of everything. It's great because we have almost some stuff we do at the gym. We might do, it could be something as basic as a squat or, a plank or push-up or just a lot of it's just body weight exercises, but we have 109 of them. Oh, yeah. And, there's the cool thing is we have an interval timer and a regular timer. So if you're doing something like a burpee, you can't do 3 minutes worth of burpees.
Right.
If you're doing them the right way.
Right.
So you could stick the interval timer on where it's 15 seconds of burpees, 15-second break, 30-second burpees, 30-second break.
So they have the option of using an interval timer.
Exactly. So the interval timer, we'll have, for each exercise, we'll say it should be a standard timer, interval timer. And people could switch. So that's nice. Number one. Also, number 2 is that if someone's just not in great shape, maybe a basic exercise that, a guy like you could do no problem in 3 minutes, that they're going to stick that interval timer on so they can kind of take their time and get more rest period.
A guy like me.
No, you look like you're doing all right, too. I think you could handle it.
Be truthful. We want to be authentic on the podcast. In other words, Billy's going to come up to you afterwards and say, you need to join the club.
Don't remind me.
You come down to the gym, you'll be in for a treat, man.
I'm going to watch.
He keeps saying in for a treat, but I keep thinking I won't enjoy it as much as he
well,
says
you'll feel good when you're done.
Yes.
So what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So we'll almost kill you, but you'll end up stronger.
That's why I have to watch. So you have this, I think that's fascinating. You have the interval timer for someone that feels, okay, I can't do the 3 minutes. I can choose.
Boom, right there, right on the top. Just click over the interval
brilliant.
timer. Yeah, I thought that was kind of a concept we definitely wanted to add to it.
Yeah, people have to hear that. I mean, because a lot of what people don't like about exercise or going to clubs, I'm a little embarrassed. You hear you can work out of your home, build up to a certain state, use your methods that you have, and build some confidence.
Yeah.
Before you know it, they might be at a boxing club.
Absolutely. And my wife's kind of the brains behind it. She, she's younger than me, so she knows more about technology than me and Kelly.
You're smart too, buddy. by saying that.
I'm learning. But anyway, it was her idea. She said, that at-home workouts are scheduled to surpass gym memberships, gym workouts. Apps are the new biggest workout trend because, everyone's so busy nowadays.
Yes.
And, you can get this right in your house. You don't have to go anywhere. By the time, even if the gym's close, you drive 10, 15 minutes there, you park, you walk in, especially up north where it's cold. Then you get in there, you change your clothes. You're talking in, an hour and a half probably minimum.
Right.
So to be able to just, you got kids, you have a family, you're on a time schedule, to be able to go get your workout in 30 or 40 minutes, that's something I think the option more people are starting to choose.
And they're learning boxing. This isn't a typical, exercise, fitness.
Right. And that's the exciting part. I
Video.
mean, when me and Kelly did it, the first word we thought about is authentic. We want to have an authentic experience. And Kelly Pavlik and myself, we're not going to go do JCPenney boxing.
Right.
It's just, we wouldn't do it. You couldn't pay me to do it. I invested too much of my life in the sport to do something that I don't believe in.
Right.
So, we believe in the app. You're getting world-class coaching in your living room. A world champion, the same guy you saw on pay-per-view, and you watch fight Bernard Hopkins, and you watch unify the middleweight division, and on the cover of Sports Illustrated, he's teaching you how to throw a jab, how to throw a right hand.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go anywhere to get that.
That's great.
So it's pretty exciting.
Now, they can find the app on
Apple iTunes Store, the Sweet Science Plus. Just put it in there, and we should pop right up.
Excellent. Well, I know it's going to take off. If it's anything like the gym you run, it's going to take off.
Yeah.
Thank
you for that.
It's just a matter of time and getting the word out there. Now, you're also on YouTube.
Yeah, so I just kind of created a YouTube channel. Partly because there's so many guys down the gym, and it's a lot of them just want to know more fundamentals, some basics. And, I teach it to people, and we go back and look. But if there's a video they can watch, there's a reference they can go back to. And a lot of times they're at the gym, and I might tell them something, and, I've been doing this 26 years or 24 years. So they can, they can go back and look at exactly what am I saying, or just rewatch it. I tell them, I'm walking around the gym helping people, giving them advice. Okay, what did he say? Let me go home and rewatch that again.
Right.
So that was the goal. I mean, when I did the YouTube channel, I wanted to do it right. So, we got high quality videos, and it was produced, and it looks nice, and different camera angles so that people could see what I'm talking about.
It's great.
Yeah, thank you very much. But I just wanted to help people. And, I would never knock anybody else's YouTube channel, but some of the stuff I see on there, it's like, there'll be Joe Smith and he's teaching boxing. I'm just like,
actually, Joe Smith's a good.
No,
good
Joe
boxer.
Smith's an excellent boxer. Yeah, no, I was just, after I said that, I'm thinking that's probably the wrong example. I'll say Joe Blow, because Joe Smith.
Yeah, there you go.
Joe Smith's the guy that, he's a really good fighter. So Joe Smith, when you hear this, I wasn't talking about the Joe Smith from Massachusetts. No, but and I'll see stuff, and there's hundreds of thousands of views. I'm thinking this is just some of the stuff. I think it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Here's what frustrates, and this is what I said. I won't just make a video to make a video. I don't have time to do it. I don't care how long my videos are. I'm not trying to reach a timestamp, or I'm not trying to get an advertiser. I'm on there. I don't care if my videos, if I can get it done in 2.5 minutes, we'll get it done in 2.5 minutes. But I'm not just going to go up there and just try to get views to get views.
Right.
If I tell you something, it's something you can apply, you can use day one in the gym. It's not theoretical. I've been there. I've done it. I know what it's like to be in the ring.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you something where you're pivoting and doing something that Limanchenko does and has been working on for 23 years. I'm going to give you something where day one you're going to go and spar, and you're going to try it, and you're going to say, well, that worked. That works. Right.
Yeah, I think too, with the quality of your YouTube, and I've watched it, it's great. The angles are great. Your instruction's great. It doesn't seem like you had 3 takes on it. It seems like you just did 1 take. And when I see 1 take, I feel it's supremely authentic because it's you talking. That was my first takeaway from the video. It's like, that was not auditioned. That came straight from your mouth. Like,
it wasn't rehearsed or anything.
No. It was beautifully done. And I'm not blowing smoke. I'm not going to blow smoke. Going back to what you said about the videos that are out there, I think there's a lot of people want to help people, but some of it's just not done the right way. Maybe optics are bad, or they don't talk real well, or maybe some of the boxing is really off, like techniques are not well, and that's what bothers probably people like you that have been around. But I think for the most part, people want to help. It's just the delivery can be bad. And here you are, been in the business for a long time, put something together real well. People need to go see it. And I'll tell all my listeners, you need to go watch it. You just do. And I've been in the gym with you. So I hear you telling me what to do, and I see what you're saying on the channel. You've told me fundamentals, and I see you saying it right on the channel. So it's not like you're telling us one thing and then the world another thing. Well done.
Yeah,
bravo,
thank you very much. And I'm
bro.
just, I'm really excited to share it. I'm excited for people to use and for people really, to apply it. Yeah. And I'm excited to make more videos and more detailed videos and more kind of intricate subtleties, of the sport. And we'll get there. Yeah,
I can't wait to see it, actually. There's a lot of people with the MMA world and boxing, I feel, making a comeback. There's a lot of people that want to fight. Let me ask you this. Now that I just said that, when you see someone come in the gym, he's a young guy, maybe make a run at boxing. What is your process in your head? Like, you see a young guy come in, do you want to coddle him for a little bit? Do you say, let's see what this guy's got, even though he might not have the boxing technique? What's your thinking?
I guess it just depends. You know, we have a lot of members just there for fitness. So if there's a fitness guy and he's trying to dabble in boxing,
Like me.
no, you're a fighter for sure. Everybody knows you're a fighter. You're a fighter that works out, but you're a fighter. But if he's just a fitness guy and I get the fitness vibe and he wants to get in there sparring, you know, I don't want to put him in there too deep. I don't want to get him discouraged, and I don't want him to get frustrated and quit coming to the gym.
Get knocked out.
Get knocked out or just get discouraged. But if someone's like a fighter, if they come in there and they want to fight and they want to box, I mean, I have 2 kids that won, you know, national tournaments in the amateurs, and they've been boxing less than a year. I put them in the ring the first week.
That's what I wanted to know.
I'll toss them right in there, and we'll see. We'll go from there because, you know, it's like anything else. You learn the most by doing it.
Yeah.
And they're not going to have the obviously perfect technique if they spar their 3rd day in the gym.
Right.
But they're tough kids. They want to get in there. Number one, they're going to be bored if they're not in the ring fighting. If they're either going to fight in the ring, they're going to be outside fighting.
Right.
We'll get them in the ring and spar. And you just kind of want to see what happens when they get hit.
Exactly.
And,
That's what I was
and
trying
how
to
they
get.
handle it. And, you know, some guys, they find out real quick it's not for them. You know, probably as a business model, it would be better to say, okay, guys, your first month is all boxing technique. And then if you sign up again for month 2 and pay me for month 2, I'll let you spar.
Right.
Then I'll keep them all for more. We're fighters down the gym. You know, I mean, they might come one day and they spar day 3 and then they quit and I don't see them again.
Have you ever thought of having a model like that?
I just can't do it. I have,
Yeah.
You know, that's why I don't have like a corporate business plan. People are probably like, your retention rate is terrible. Your members average 5.5 days. No, and that's not true. You know, we have so many guys like you and guys that are down there for months and years. But when a kid's tough and I see something that kind of sparks my eye, if you just see it and you could just hear it on the pad, that pop, that you really can't teach, you know.
Yeah.
I want to get him and see what he does. But I'm not going to throw him in there. You know, if he wants to, those are usually the guys that I want to get in. They want to spar. They're begging to spar. I'll get him in there week 1, you know, and just let him. And I won't throw him in there with the best I have. Sometimes I'll throw him in there with somebody pretty good and see what happens. And then you kind of know. But like I was saying earlier, you're going to learn the most by doing it. You know, who do you want to come, you know, work on your house? An apprentice carpenter that's been in the field with the journeyman for 3 or 4 years, or some kid in school reading books about how to frame a house?
Right.
You want the guy that's done it. So, you know, we're going to learn the technique and we can tweak some things, but if you got it in you and you want to go and I think you can go, we're going to get started.
Yeah. Now the amateur world, you have a couple that have won titles?
Yeah, I had 2 brothers, Jesse Paul and Vincente, won national championships.
Oh, they both did.
Both national championships.
Oh, congrats
so basically,
to them.
there's the whole thing. Yeah, thank you. No, I know that they're really happy and excited and I'm excited for them.
Yes,
you know, and
absolutely.
you never know. They're so young. You never know at this age. But you know, Jesse, I think he's special. You know.
Yeah, I noticed that in the gym.
Yeah. You could just, you know, and I don't want to compare. I'm not going to compare him to anything.
Right.
And trust me, I've seen guys that were just as special that it just doesn't.
Flared out,
There's too
right.
many variables. You know, there's too many, and that's why I would never, you know, these guys that aren't experienced in the game of boxing, they'll start telling you they have a 14-year-old that's going to be world champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say that because I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on the kid. And number 2, it's just too
Early?
It's too early.
Yeah.
There's too many things, you know, still ahead to come.
Yeah.
But, you know, the kid, it was a funny story. His dad brought him in. And his dad doesn't speak hardly any English. So he brings these guys in. He goes, my boys like to fight.
They like to fight
I
each
said,
other.
great. I said, great. He said, they like to fight. I want to learn. I want to teach them to know how to do it the right way. Then he pulls his phone out and he shows me a video. The one kid's like 13 or 14. He's in the backyard like at a cookout with maybe those little Sugar Ray Leonard gloves on, just fighting an adult in the backyard. No mouthpiece, no headgear. Just kind of giving as good as he's getting, you know what I mean? So I'm like, these guys, like, I got to throw them in. What am I going to do? Like, you know, I got to throw these guys in the ring.
You have a moral obligation to...
You know, and then I didn't even pay a whole ton of attention. You know, you gotta prove yourself a little bit. I can't, you know, I got one set of eyes, so you got to show me something. So they fought their first fight. They fought the Sugarburt in Florida, just the local Sugarburt. There's about 10 of these Sugarburt tournaments all over the country.
That's a pretty big deal, though.
Yeah,
right?
great tournament, right?
Yeah.
And then the winners from all 10 go fight in the nationals.
Right.
So they fought in the local one in Punta Gorda, and you know, but it was pretty big. There's teams from Cuba, teams from, you know, a lot of the Latin American teams come to Florida because it's close. So it was just funny, you know. he goes in there and he fought this Cuban kid from Miami, and this kid had the fancy shoes and his name on his trunks and tassels, and he had shorts and tennis shoes on. And he went and he just pummeled this guy, gave him 2 standing 8 counts and almost knocked him out.
Oh, jeez.
And I didn't know, because you don't know until they get in there.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, he likes to fight.
This guy's a monster. And he's getting, and I kind of knew something was up. I knew it was either going to go real good or real bad before the fight. So before the fight, I spar, I've been in the game my whole life, and I would get really nervous before a fight. Yeah. I just think it's natural. For me, it was like I would get super duper nervous. I would think about it and I wouldn't sleep. I'd be walking around pacing. Yeah. I'd get nervous. And these guys are sitting there outside of the ring, just sitting there like they're sitting there just, having a soda or something.
At a backyard cookout. Just
sitting there, not warming up, sitting there calm and cool as collected. They just get in the ring and fight. I mean, there's no questions, no... your first fight, all these people, right. It was such a big tournament. There's 3 rings going on at the same time.
Oh, geez,
there was 120 fights. There's 40 fights in each ring. There's people everywhere, all over the place. Medals, belts, some of the best kids in the country. And they're sitting there calm and cool, not blinking, sitting down, not asking any questions, not caring about caring. They just got in the ring and fought. They don't think they broke a sweat. I kept asking if they wanted to warm up. They just kind of looked at me like, no, I'm okay. I'm warm. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. They're just ready to go fight.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So maybe we should have them on with you one day.
Yeah, they're good kids. I'm really proud of them. And I got a whole, not just now. I got a whole bunch of really good kids, and they're just. What's exciting about it is they're good to everybody. They're just good to the adults. They're good to the younger kids. They're just, we got a really special group of young men down there, and I'd like to think that part of it is how they're trained and how they behave and kind of what the expectations for them.
Well, you got to look as far as the coach. I know you don't want to give yourself props. I know you're a modest guy. I know that. It's a good quality, but, they're being trained, they're being led by their leader.
Yeah, there's a lot of people down there helping, guys like you and guys like, the other...
Jeff?
The other Jeff that's down there helping.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, are invested in these kids and want to see them. And the lessons you learn in boxing, they transcend to your whole life.
Yeah.
You learn self-reliance, to rely on yourself. And I'll get a kid in the ring, and once in a while they'll get in the ring, and halfway through the round, they're getting beat up, and they look at me. I said, don't look at me, man. I can't help you.
I've heard that.
When you're in that
I've
ring,
heard you say that.
You're in the ring. Like you either take a knee and you quit, and then you quit, which is, it happens.
Right.
Not that you quit, but you
got beat.
Or you're going to try to figure it out. And that's the problem with a lot of kids these days, where you got to figure it out. Like you can't ask Siri. You can't ask, you can't Google the answer.
Right.
You're in that ring and you're out of gas.
No, I've heard you many of times.
And someone's trying to hit you in the head. You better hold them. You better spit your mouth, whatever you got to do. Now, don't get me wrong. If a kid's in the corner and he's getting pummeled and he's not going to I'm going to jump in there. I've stopped a couple sparring sessions like that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let somebody get their beat up for no reason. But if you're a little bit gassed and you're looking for a way out, or you got a little bit of blood on your nose and you're looking for a way out.
No, I've heard you. I've heard you say figure it out a few times. and I just chuckle while I'm hitting the bag.
And then when the excitingest thing, when they do figure it out and they get through the round and they didn't think they could, then other things in life come up. And most of them aren't going to be professionals. They're not going to make a lot of money.
Right.
But other things come up and they say,
deal with it.
I can figure it out.
Right.
Maybe I don't know the answer now, but I'll figure it out. Whatever problem you have in life, you might have a big problem and you think to yourself, I can't solve this big problem. But there's something you could do about that problem.
Right.
So you do what you can do at that point.
Well, I think
and then when you do that, then you do what can we do next. And pretty soon that big problem is no longer there.
Yeah. It's smaller or it's taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the fight game transcends so much of lessons in life that nowadays I don't think a lot of people want to even face that. I hate saying it, but this generation has just gotten so soft. And you put them in, I don't care. You put them into martial arts, you put them in boxing, something in the combat world. I think positive things are going to happen with those.
Yeah, I really think so. I mean, I just go do what I do and the way I was raised and the way I train. And people think it's like, oh, this is great. This is
old
school.
Though.
This is like going, and I'm like, well, this is just the way we do things here. It's the way, and it's not for everybody, which is
right.
okay. It doesn't have to be for everybody.
Right.
But if it's for you, then you're gonna get the real thing.
Yeah. What do you think of the fighters nowadays? This generation?
Boy, they're great.
I mean, they're super talented.
Yeah, they really are. And, you know, there's some really good fighters out there now. I think that boxing's kind of making a comeback. I think there's more people doing it.
Well, the whole fight scene is making a comeback.
Yeah.
It seems like the way the heavyweight division goes is the way boxing goes.
Yeah, for the most part. You know, in the 80s, I think it was the middleweights with Hagler and Leonard and Hearns.
Yeah.
But really, you know, when you think boxing, you think Ali, heavyweights.
Yes.
And those guys, I'll tell you from experience, they make a lot more money than everybody else. My manager would always want heavyweights. I don't want anybody but heavyweight, you know, because their purse was always twice everybody else's.
He was a businessman.
Yeah, of course.
Businessman / trainer. Yeah.
But no, the fighters are great. I think that
what do you think of Deontay?
Deontay, boy, he just, you know.
He's an enigma to me because he seems like he doesn't have the technique, but he's knocking.
Well, I'll tell you something about it, which I think is it's different than when I fought. I think that because of MMA, people throw punches different angles.
Yeah, they do.
And now I'm seeing, when I was boxing, it was a straight right hand.
Yeah.
There was no overhand. There was no right hook. It was a straight right. You threw it as straight as possible. That was just how they learned in the 50s, 60s.
Yep.
And straight right hand. I remember I went to Germany and I almost got killed because I'm fighting this guy, and you know I could slip the straight right, or I could parry the straight right. He's coming around my jab and hit me in the temple with an overhand right. I never seen anything like it. I never seen it sparring. I never seen it in another fight anywhere. Sebastian Sylvester, I fought for the IBF World title.
He was a champion, yeah.
IBF World champion, and he just kept hitting with this overhand. I mean, it was a nightmare. I remember after the fight, I'm holding the ice on my temple, thinking my head's gonna explode. But then after that, I started trying to implement that overhand, and I see that with Wilder that, you know, everyone has their own style, and that's kind of the way I train my fighters too. You know, you want to throw the straight right hand. The quickest point between two people is the straight line, obviously.
Right.
But sometimes coming from different angles isn't a bad thing.
Right.
You throw from different angles, and because guys get so locked into things coming straight, they could slip, block. You start putting things around the guard and do different things, and like triple G over the top.
Yeah.
You know, some of those Eastern European guys have made it a lot more normal. And I think it's great, and I think it really adds to boxing because there's more strikes now. It's almost like it's more dangerous now than when I was doing it because, I mean, the punches come from different angles.
Yeah.
And now when guys come in the gym, like I just think that if I'd have been training guys 10 years ago, I'd say, throw that right hand straight. Throw it straight. Because that's the way I was raised. And they would maybe never get a chance to throw it. Some of these guys, they just have dynamic power with the hook.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Deontay, his last fight, who did he fight? Was it Ortiz?
Ortiz, yeah. They had the rematch.
They did. He threw a straight right.
Yeah, that was straight. That was straight.
And he never throws straight right.
And I'll tell you what, he just has just freakish power. I mean, he's 210 pounds. I don't think he's that big. And that's what's interesting about his next fight with Fury. Somebody asked me about the other day, who's going to win?
Who do you think?
And I said, well, if Wilder catches him, he's going to knock him out. And if he doesn't, Fury will probably outbox him. I mean, kind of like the first fight.
Yeah.
And what Deontay said, something really kind of cool. He said, if you fight me, you have to be perfect for 12 rounds.
Yeah.
He said,
I just
got to get lucky once.
Yeah.
And you'll watch his fights. I've seen it a couple times where it's a ho-hum fight. You go to the fridge to grab a,
and they're out.
And the fight's over. You come back and you're watching a highlight of it. Oh my. And the whole 6 rounds was boring.
Yeah.
He's pawing his jab, but he's smart. And I think he got Mark Breland in his corner, who just is a tremendous coach, a former Olympian.
Yes.
So he's getting great training. But
I like Wilder in the next fight.
You over Fury?
Yeah, I do. I don't think Fury's going to be able to get away with the same thing again.
Yeah.
I think Wilder's getting...
I'll tell you what's really special about Wilder, and, kind of gets into, whatever, but that man believes in himself.
Yeah, he does.
And when you believe in yourself, and you really believe in yourself, gosh, you're really hard to beat.
Talking about it before, we brought this up, McGregor and Bud. Billy says he's going to go to Vegas. Wait, you're going to go to Vegas when they fight in the MMA fight?
MMA fight. What boxing? Everyone knows
if they do this.
I'm really hoping they do, because I'll tell you what, Terrence.
That's funny that a boxer says he hopes a boxer will fight in an MMA fight.
I do, because I'll tell you, Terrence Crawford is the best pound for pound fighter in the world. there's not a close second. The guy's phenomenal. He's so underrated. What he does in the ring is incredible.
He is underrated.
And he's mean. It's hard. I mean, he gets in the ring, like, he has fun. Like, he wants to hurt you. Like, he's not going to outpoint you.
It's a switch that must go off because he seems like a real cool dude.
Oh, I mean, he is all his ducks in a row, and he goes in there and he's a mean guy. He has fun beating people up. Like, he'll go. I remember he was fighting the one gold medalist. Guy won a gold medalist from the Dominican Republic.
Oh yeah, Gamboa.
No, not Gamboa. That was a good fight too. He fought Diaz. I forget the first name. Really good fighter. Anyways, he's beating him up and he's toying with me, telling him, I want to punish him. I want to hurt him. Like, and when he gets hit, he'll fight guys that are punchers. He could outbox. He'll get hit and he'll smile and he'll want to. He likes it. He likes to fight. He's the type of guy that beat up everybody in the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he did or not, but that type of guy.
Yeah.
And he'll go in the ring and beat you up in the ring too.
Yeah.
You go in the ghetto, he's the toughest guy in the ghetto.
Yeah.
You go to any rough area of any big city in the country, he's the guy, hey, you don't want to run into Bud.
Now that's a guy technically in the ring. Isn't he the one that switches southpaw orthodox?
Yeah, all the time.
I love that.
He's fun. He's so fluid. He's so fast. He's phenomenal. And I think that, he hasn't got the name of some other guys because it's just not his personality to talk trash.
Do you think it's his promotions, though?
No, I mean, his Bob Arum. That's the guy. That's Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah. I mean, he had Canelo for a while, De La Hoya. It's just, you know what? I think Bud, to tell you the truth, I think he would rather make, $10 or $12 million and maybe make, say, 100 in his career and be himself and be Bud and, people that know boxing know he's one of the all-time greats.
Right.
But I don't think he cares about the limelight. I don't think he cares about being Floyd Mayweather. I don't think he cares about going everywhere and people knowing him. I think, hey, I got $100 million. I just don't. He's not gonna. He's so, like Floyd
grounded.
will say it's all about the money. It's for the money. It's for the money. The money, which is fine. That's his prerogative to get the money, and he's really good at getting it.
Yeah,
you know. Where Bud, I just don't think. I think it's so his integrity. I just think it's so important to him to just be himself. He'll go beat you in the ring. What else does he have to prove?
Right.
I mean, he says we're going to fight. What are we arguing about? The fight's going to happen.
Right.
I'm not
going to fight you outside the ring.
I'm going to show up. I mean, but if you get, then he might fight.
Yeah.
If you get in his face at a press conference, he might still hit you. He's not a punk, but I don't think he's going to go out of the way to do it.
It seems like he fights for the honor.
Yeah, I just think he loves to fight. I mean, he's no punk. If you're at his, he's not going to just be so noble that he's like one of these karate guys that turns the other cheek. I think if you're gonna get in his
karate guys,
well, like the
I know what you're saying from a philosophical
point of view, he's not a punk. Where I think if McGregor would have gotten his face like he got in Mayweather's fight, and that'll be interesting to see promotion.
Yeah.
If he gets in Bud's face like that, I think Bud takes a swing. I mean, he's not a bitch.
He's gonna ruin his payday.
Well, that's who he is. I mean, these guys, they can't help it.
Man, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Let's
hopefully
make it happen.
but the thing about it is he probably won't start talking about McGregor the same way Mayweather did.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be a different type of thing.
Yeah.
But he is the only boxer. And I don't recommend boxers do MMA. It's a different sport.
Yeah.
And I would say for 95% of the time, the MMA guy will beat a boxing guy. Maybe 80%.
With MMA rules.
With MMA rules. Maybe not 95. I'll say 80. I'm not as sold as some people are. I'll say 80. But
Ray Mercer did it.
Knocked the guy out. Yeah. With one right hand.
A former MMA champion.
MMA champion, right. And there obviously it happens the other way too.
Right.
But I think the caliber of athlete in boxing is far superior. I think some of these guys, they get like a Terrence Crawford, the speed, the coordination, the balance. And here's my analogy, okay? And I take a lot of flack because a lot of guys down the gym are MMA guys. MMA is huge now. It's as big as boxing. Right. It's big, And, I might get some hate mail from them or whatnot, but I tell guys, look, there's guys that have been doing MMA 3 years, 4 years. They're champions. Any sport you could be a champion at in 4 years is not a real sport.
Whoa, yeah, you will get hate mail for
that. That would look. It's a fight. They're a great fighter.
Right.
But that'd be like Tom Brady saying, I picked up a football for the first time 4 years ago, and I'm the best quarterback in the NFL. Or it'd be like, that'd be like LeBron James saying, I just started playing basketball at 31. Now I'm the best in the NBA.
Yeah, but don't you think there's something very organic with fighting? Like you can be a good, brute, tough fighter and possibly still be a champion. I mean, look at Deontay. He started late, didn't he?
I know, but I mean, he's, that's at least 18 or 19, 18 and 30.
I get
and
what
he's
you're
getting up
saying.
there. He's
Though.
32.
No, I get what you're saying,
That's
though.
14,
I get you.
it's still 14 years.
Yeah.
And he needed a lot of, they brought him up kind of slow.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't just throw him to the wolves to begin with. He won the bronze medal and the bronze.
Yeah, he went into the Olympics fast, though.
No, for sure, definitely, and it's different. I mean,
That's different, right?
That's different than the pro game. But I just think that those guys, you might say, well, I mean, I guess to me, your analogy you could use for any sport. You said, don't you think there's a lot of tough guys that are good fighters that could be champion for 3 years? I'd say, well, don't you think there's a lot of guys that are 6 foot 220 that could run fast, that could be good football players in 3 years? But the answer would be no.
Right.
Because there's anything that's a sport, there's so many intricate, tiny details to it. There is no boxer that is a world champion that picked up boxing gloves 3 years ago.
Right. No, I get your point. I just don't.
And to me, it's like, that's why boxers are better paid. I don't think boxers are scared to fight UFC. I really don't. I think that if I'm Canelo and I'm making $35 million a fight, why would I go to their octagon? Start offering boxers $40 million to do a UFC fight, and you'll see a lot of boxers switch into UFC, guaranteed. Yeah, but they're not going to take a huge pay cut to go do that. And Crawford probably feels like he would make that kind of money with the McGregor, so that's probably why he threw his name.
Right. I was just going to say that. Also, here's the other part of this. We haven't seen a young primetime boxer try MMA. It's been guys that are
old,
past
over
their
the hill,
career,
past their prime.
James Toney, Ray Mercer.
Right, because the young guy, there's too much. They have
too much.
They're making too much money. There's too much to lose, and that's what I keep telling everybody that like you can go get a 36-year-old Paulie Malignaggi.
Yeah,
that's not the same as fighting the 26-year-old Lopez, the guy, Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
I mean, you put that guy in there at 135.
He just lands a couple.
Look at McGregor. What's he, 5'8", 5'9", my height, and he fought at 170 his last fight?
Yeah, he did.
I mean, like Charlo fights 154. He's 6 foot. I'll tell you right now, somebody that would beat him in the cage, another guy, would be that guy from Russia, that light heavyweight champion.
Usyk.
Arthur Beterbiev, the one that.
Yes.
Arthur, that guy's a monster. That guy's a monster. Nobody knows about him.
No,
that's a tough guy.
He just fought who? Oh.
He just knocked out the guy that almost. When the fighter almost died. Yeah, remember he almost passed away in the ring. The 175. What the heck's his name? From Canada. You know who it is.
Yeah, I posted it.
Yeah, he almost passed away in there. The guy that beat him, undefeated guy, he just knocked him out. But I mean, you get a guy like that. There's probably you give me a UFC guy, every UFC champ, I'll find a boxer that can beat him.
Wow, bro, that's a lot, man. Because you know what, the UFC.
I'm not that boxer. I'm not saying that's me.
They throw some of them kicks at their legs, take their knees out. Oh.
No, I mean, and that's in. I was telling the guy down the gym about that. I was getting excited because I'm a big Crawford guy, and I just think this guy's amazing.
Who were you talking with? Is it the Muay Thai guy?
Yeah, I always got to.
What's his name again? I just talked to him. I just texted him. I want him on the podcast.
Oh, Anthony Sinatra.
Yes.
Yeah. I got, Anthony he started boxing. He does Muay Thai, but he's
more of a boxer?
He's more of a boxer.
Yeah.
He got into Muay Thai, but I think his roots are in boxing. He knows Paulie Spatafora, who I know from Pittsburgh. We know a lot of the same people. But I think he kind of thinks, I don't know. But yeah, when I talk to these guys, I just kind of, I don't know.
It'll be interesting. Yeah. I tell you what.
I hope it happens. And here's why the only reason I think it might happen. And that's because, ESPN Plus or ESPN is top rank, and that's who Crawford's with. And there's no one for him to fight. None of the PBC guys will fight him. Errol Spence won't fight him. Garcia won't fight him. Pacquiao won't fight him. No, they won't fight him. Not, I think they think they wouldn't want to fight him, number one. But number two is they're with a different promotional group.
That's what I was referring to before.
Right.
Was it because of promotions? This cross promotions that they have to do can stifle a fight.
Oh, totally. And
PBC wants to make their PBC fighters fight each other.
Of course. And that's what's great about the UFC. And that's what really is. And that's why people are into it and watch it, because you see the best fighters fight each other.
Yeah.
And another cool thing about it is if you lose, it's not the end of your career.
Right.
And boxing is like, for me,
setback,
I never care. I was 25 and 11. I didn't care.
Yeah.
But like for a lot of guys, they think like, a loss is a death sentence. It shouldn't be like that. Jake LaMotta had 20-some losses. Sugar Ray
Did he
Robinson.
really?
Oh, yeah. Sugar Ray Robinson was 100 and something and 27 or something. I mean,
Yeah.
Ali lost over 10 fights. I mean, I don't know how it got. I think it got with these big promoters. You had a guy on your network like HBO or Showtime, and they only fought on that network. And then when they lost, it was like, oh my gosh, we got to find somebody. Like they wouldn't let them lose.
Right.
Like it's okay to lose. Like the comeback. Like how do you bounce? Like I don't know. It
you
shouldn't
sort
be a
of
death
lose your
sentence.
steam there because everything is prompted on that.
Yeah.
You know, is he undefeated?
Is he undefeated? Right.
You know, who did he lose to? Oh, he lost to that guy?
Right.
He must not be.
Well, and that's what's kind of cool about MMA. And there's a lot of cool things about it. I don't have nothing, against it. I just think that, boxers, the best boxers, not the best boxers would beat him.
Right, right.
Now, don't get me wrong. If he goes out there, Crawford could get kicked in the head, and the fight's over. He loses.
Right, right.
I'm willing to bet $1,000 he doesn't.
Man, I might want to just bet you.
Yeah, so we could just keep. We could just keep the juice.
Right, keep it in the house.
Yeah,
Right.
Why? Why give the juice away? Huh?
So, okay, let me switch subjects here. What's going on with your young kids? Are you do you have anything coming up for them?
I was talking to Jeff Noor, who runs the boys program with me, and we looked at it. We went to 19 bouts in the past 7 months, so that's almost like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And my wife wanted to kill me.
Yeah,
because
you're gone.
Well, the gym's open 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. and then every weekend I'm in Orlando, Tampa, Miami.
Right.
The fights normally aren't close around here, so my wife's expecting in a couple weeks. We have our second.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's really exciting time. Thank you. So she said, listen, the baby's due like February 20th. She said no fights in February, Billy. Like, no.
Yeah.
So there's a
You
couple
can
shows
understand
we're
that.
gonna go
Right.
to, and Jeff asked the boys, and a couple of the boys. They're like, we love you, but I don't know if I want to go without you, Billy. So we'll see if they want to fight. I all the faith in the world in Jeff, but it's the boys' decision. I don't want to make them fight without me.
Right.
And then if not, we'll get back in March. Marco Island has a huge show every year at the JW Marriott, which is just like the most.
Where is that?
Marco Island.
Oh, Marco Island.
Yeah, at the
Okay.
the JW Marriott. I mean, it's just the nicest show
Really?
I've ever been to. Yeah.
When is this?
Yeah, I'll
March?
get you some tickets. March. It's really kind of like a black tie event. They bring teams in from Ireland and all over the place. Yeah, so
I'm
yeah,
not
Coach
missing
Richie
that.
does a great job. But there'll be fights, and we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight them as much as we can because, the kids got to fight. Yeah, and it's tough because boxing's a year-round sport. So you got to know kind of when to hold them and when to push them. Like, a couple of the guys down the gym this week, they missed the day. It's okay. It's okay because it's not like football where you play football, then the season's over, then you play football every day.
Right.
You can't do boxing 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So sometimes you got to know when to pull off the gas, when to step on the gas. And that's, what I think is part of what makes our team so effective is we know when to do that.
Yeah.
Guys,
do you have like a camp? Do you like make this camp type atmosphere?
It's kind of, it's really individualized. So different kids fight on different dates. We'll put 5 kids' names in and maybe 1 or 2 get a fight. And then a week later, a couple other kids fight.
Oh, so it's predicated on if they have a match.
If they have a match, right.
Okay,
but
all right.
But there's always a couple things I do conditioning-wise because at this stage of boxing, I can't take a lot of credit. Most of it's who's in better shape. When you're a beginning amateur, it doesn't matter. I mean, I have all this knowledge and experience, and I just chuckle sometimes because also people doing this fancy pad work and pivoting and they don't run. Like then they get in the ring and they get stopped in the first or second. As soon as they're out of gas, the fight's over.
Do you really believe that the running is a huge thing?
Sprints is all it is.
Sprints?
Absolutely,
Okay, so
100%.
it's
If
that
you want to be, you
explosive-
have to have
Those
you
bursts.
have to have your lungs go.
Yeah.
You take that breath in, and you can go all day. I mean, if you don't run, you cannot be an effective boxer, especially at an early age, because it's so much of who's in better shape.
Yeah.
It's so much of that fundamentals and who's in better shape. A lot of it's not complicated.
I hate running.
Oh, hey, you know what I would do, and it was the worst thing to ever do. Before my fights, I'd go to the track. I didn't have a big team or I didn't big money behind me. I'd go to the track by myself with a stopwatch. I would sprint a 400 meters as fast as I could. Then I'd time a minute break. Then I'd sprint 400.
Oh, jeez.
Time as many rounds as I had. If I had
That minute break.
If
that minute break gets shorter.
Oh, like it was insane. But I mean, I remember just
Yeah.
But you get in the ring and you can just it can flow. You just feel you can fight all day. Your wind, your lungs, everything's with you. Like when you call upon it, it got to be there.
Right,
you have
right.
to have it in the tank. It
So
doesn't
you're
matter.
not a big believer of the long distance running then?
No, there's a couple things it does. I'd probably, now I know all this stuff. When you're boxing, it's like when you're in it, you can't see the bird's eye view, when you're in it.
Yeah.
And I always would run 4 miles. And I ran it pretty fast. I run 4 miles in 26 and a half minutes or something like that. But looking back, I should have been all sprints, man. I mean, it should have been maybe distance one or 2 days a week. The thing distance does is when you run distance, it does make you a little bit stronger, I guess, just from running the forward momentum. But I'd say 70% sprints.
Yeah, you're talking different muscle fibers too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff I do with my kids, like I remember, I wasn't the most talented guy in the gym. And obviously I have to have a good amount of talent. I wouldn't have made it as far as I did. But when you start talking about on a world-class level, I mean, you could be the most talented guy in Naples, always good, or Collier County, always really good. Then you start talking Southwest Florida.
Region.
Florida.
Right.
Southeast, the country. I mean, it's a big country, So I could have been the most talented guy in Niles and still really not that talented.
Right. So you are from Niles, Ohio.
Niles, right outside of Youngstown. Yeah. So anyways, the training techniques I did, I got made fun of 20 years ago. People would laugh. Billy, what the hell are you doing now? What are you up to? Things I see people do now all the time. I always had a weighted vest. I put my weighted vest on. I hit the bag. I take it off. I feel explosive.
Yeah.
I had those strength shoes with the platform.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would do those. I would do,
Yes.
and all the black kids down the gym would be making fun of me because they could jump twice as high as I could. Anyways, they didn't have the strength shoes. What do you use those shoes for? But to me, like I'm jumping way higher than I was, even though it's not as high as they are. But I did all this crazy stuff, and now I see that stuff's becoming more mainstream.
Yeah, it's so edgy now.
Yeah.
The technology.
The technology is a big part. And,
just even the science.
that's what's great. That's why our gym's called the Sweet Science.
Yes.
It's the technology, but then it's an art and it's a science.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a fundamentals, but then there's an individual aspect to it. And you have to combine it all to be a successful boxer.
There's one thing I want to say about your club. You have all ranges of ages in there, and women. You got everybody in there.
We have so much fun, I'll tell you. I mean, I was just going through the members. Our oldest member is 85 years old.
Jeez.
And our youngest one, I think, is 7. I was calling her HBC for a while, Haitian Boxing Club, because I have so many Haitians come down. I love them. I tell my Haitian brothers that, guys, you're going to keep me open this month.
Jackson, are you listening?
They all come down. Was he Haitian? I didn't even know
Yes,
Jackson.
yeah.
They all come down and give me support. I mean, just love them. And then I got so many Hispanics, and I got so many just, white, just well-to-do white people that are seasonal, and they come down and they donate to the nonprofit, and they love the gym, and they'll work side by side next to the guy that maybe gave me his last $100 of the month to come, and he's sweating all over the place. And it's the most eclectic gym. I'm gonna not just say Naples, and I've ever been. I mean,
you have everyone
in the country. We have everybody, and everybody gets along, and everybody works hard. I think is the kind of the core foundation.
Oh
for
yeah,
it.
you sense that right away.
And there's a really good energy because of it. But I mean, and when you have something like that, nobody becomes bigger than the gym. Nobody's more important than the gym. And that's why I try to keep, it's important for me to keep the membership, as reasonable as possible. Obviously, when 2 guys are hitting each other in the ring, your insurance is expensive. I know you own a gym, you know that.
Right.
And real estate in Naples, Florida is very expensive. It's the second highest zip code in the country for.
Oh my goodness.
So there's that, which I do have to make a living, right? But when you start charging $200 a month, like a lot of the places down here do, and I see why they do. I'm like, what? Yeah, I could see you almost not. They're not even really being egregious. They kind of, when you start doing that, people can become bigger than the gym.
Right.
At the $100 rate, it's like if you really want to come, most people can make it work. They can get the 100 if it's important to them. They really want to, right? They might not get the pair of shoes to go to dinner, but they can do it. And then at the same time, no one becomes bigger than the gym. I want everybody down there, but if I'm not vibing with you and you're not willing to, if you're causing trouble, or I can't say, oh, this guy's giving me $250 a month, or
I can't let him go.
He's personal training.
Right.
I don't do personal training like that.
Right.
I mean, so everybody's equal at the gym.
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit. I know we got to wrap this up in a little bit, but tell me about your Parkinson's program.
The Parkinson's program, my Rock Steady Boxing, is awesome. I mean, we probably have 30 people in the program, and we offer it 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And, these people work so hard.
Yeah, you know what I wanted to ask you is now, do they have to be diagnosed with Parkinson's or?
Yeah, so they should be. Some people have tremors, but it's
Right.
mostly Parkinson's. We have other members that are, in the 70s, then come down to work out, but not part of the Parkinson's class.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Now, if they, if they have some of the signs of Parkinson's and some of the tremors, and they haven't officially been diagnosed, then we'll take them. But, they just work so hard.
Yeah, that's the first time I stepped in your gym. I came at like noon.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there, or it was early.
And I tell everyone, the goal of the class is that if you didn't have Parkinson's, you would get such an amazing sweat and workout no matter what. And people come in there and work out with their husband or wife that does have Parkinson's. They tell me they haven't worked out like that in years.
That's great.
These people and they're so invested because it's their future, it's their health.
Right.
So they're so into it and they love it. And we have so many seasonal people, and they'll go back to New York or Michigan or Illinois, and they'll bring a whole notebook with them of what we do at our Rocksteady, and they'll bring it up
no
there with them.
kidding.
Yeah, I mean, we
Nice.
try to do balance, strength, coordination, boxing every day. And Jeff, it's just so exciting because just to help people, to see people come in on a walker and get on a Bosu ball and do a squat. When I
Yes.
fall off the Bosu ball, I have
Right.
I mean, this is no exaggeration.
Right,
I'm not going to sum here and lie to you. They'll come in with a walker, and 2 months later, they're standing on a blue Bosu
That's
ball
awesome.
doing a squat with no assistance.
Yeah, that's awesome that you offer that.
Yeah.
I was getting to when I first stopped at your gym just to find out what it was about. I think your wife was working. I said, I'm here to join the club, and she's like, "Oh, well, Billy will be here in a couple minutes. Right now, we got our Parkinson's class going." I'm like, "Parkinson's class? All right, this is."
She was just texting me. She said, that's why I was just looking over at my phone. But no,
no, it's all right. It's all right. If you need to text your wife, bro, do it.
well, she's 9 months pregnant, so
yeah. No, it's
Better.
Hey, we're here having a talk. This
Yeah.
is conversation, so that does not bother me, and it won't bother anybody else.
Yeah,
for that matter. But we'll wrap it up anyway, so you can get home to your wife and your daughter. How old's your daughter again? 2?
she'll be 3 couple weeks, 27th of
Is she
February.
having a sister or a brother?
We don't know yet. It's exciting. So we want to be surprised. We were surprised for the first one.
Girl or boy, it's gonna be a boxer. I think.
If it's a boy,
The funny thing is, if you come to my house, there's no trace of boxing. My wife is the most girly girl. She has princess. My wife. I mean, we went to Disney. I think she wanted to go to Disney. It was kind of her. She had the whole like, we're gonna meet this princess and this princess.
Right,
I'm
right.
like, Susie's too. She doesn't know.
Right.
But I mean, so it's like I walk into that oasis and it's just, it's just
good.
It's all women, all a whole different vibe, a whole different tone, and I wouldn't have it another way. I just.
It's a good break.
Yeah,
from
it is, and I just love them so much, and it's just so different than what I grew up with. It's it's just when you grow up as a boy, it's one thing. Just to see how my daughter's being raised, and they're wearing dresses, and they're princess, and they're painting their nails.
Hey, I've always said this, man. When I had my 2 boys, and when I had my daughter, my life changed.
Yeah.
I mean, my boys changed my life, obviously, but my daddy's little girl thing. Woo, boy, you're going for a ride. You're going for a ride.
I just want to just keep, you can't do enough for them.
No,
it's just so darn cute.
Well, that's a good way to wrap it up, is over some good family talk.
Yeah.
Billy, I appreciate you coming out here, spending your time out here.
I thank you.
I know you just got out of the gym. You work, 12-hour day in the gym?
But it's a lot of fun. And when you're doing something you love, it actually gives you energy. It doesn't take away. But I can't thank you enough for having me on.
Oh.
And, just to be on a show like this with a guy like you, it's amazing. I'm really excited,
I appreciate
for all the things to come for you guys here on the Matrix Hour.
It'll be good. Make sure everyone go check out his app, the Sweet Science Plus, Apple iTunes
Store. Yep.
Also the YouTube, the name of the channel.
The Sweet Science Boxing and Fitness.
The Sweet Science Boxing and Fitness. Go see it. I've seen it already. And you're going to have extra videos coming out, too.
Yeah, so every 2 weeks we're going to release some videos. We'll have another one coming out, I believe.
Should be soon.
Yeah, maybe this Sunday we'll get
Yeah.
one out.
Yeah. So that'll be a wrap, everyone. Thank you. And Billy, thank you again.
Thanks for having me on.
That's a wrap.